I'm Monica, 30 years old. Let's rewind to my childhood. I don't remember much from when I was born. I don't know who my biological parents were, and I never wanted to find out. I found myself in an orphanage surrounded by other kids with dreams and stories of their own. I held on to a hope that one day I would be chosen and my life would change forever. My lucky day came when I turned 10. A wonderful couple, Lisa and Robert, scooped me up and brought me into their family. I can still remember the butterflies in my stomach as I moved into their house. It was a place of new beginnings with every room full of possibilities. A couple of years later, our family grew yet again. Lisa and Robert decided to adopt a young boy named Austin, who was just a bit older than me. Life was all rainbows. It felt like being part of any regular family doing regular things. I never felt like an outsider, and even though people around me would ask me if I was curious to know who my parents were, I simply said no, because I truly had no interest in getting to know the people who did not want me in their lives. In my head and heart, my real family was Lisa, Robert, and Austin. I was off to college, all pumped up to chase my dreams with the solid support of my parents, but life's a twisty road. It was a call from Austin. He hit me with some bad news. Our parents, Lisa and Robert, had been in a crazy accident. The world I knew, that bubble of their love, just popped. Their loss hit me harder than I could ever imagine. I realized Austin was the only family I was left with up until I met my husband, Brian. Brian and I had our own little love story centered around our shared passion for the piano. We met through our college's music club, and then when I was 24, I made a decision that was quick, almost impulsive. Brian and I had grown so close that it felt like the natural next step. We decided to get married. We were young and in love. After Brian and I got married, he landed a decent job and we moved into his mom, Bernice's house. It was all Brian's idea. He said that we would have a ton of rent money, which we could soon invest in our own place later on. Bernice had never really warmed up to me, but we managed to coexist under the same roof. She would often drop hints that Brian had settled down too early and should have explored more of life. But everything took a dramatic turn when I found out I was pregnant. Brian seemed happy when I told him the news, but I could not say the same about Bernice. Bernice, there's something we want to share with you. We're going to have a baby. A baby? You are having a baby? Yes, Mom. We're finally going to be a grandma. We are really excited about it. Excited? This is unbelievable. You don't even have a place of your own, and now you're bringing a child into this world? We are hardly keeping up with the bills in this house, for God's sakes. Mom, don't worry. We're finally moving out. We won't take up your space anymore. You know, Brian, before Monica came into your life, you were a bright student with so much potential. You had dreams, goals, and a future ahead of you. But now, you're going to be a dad and your life's been turned upside down. Mom, it's not that black and white. I still have dreams and I'm not giving up on them. My priorities have changed a bit. Priorities? What priorities, Brian? It seems like you have completely forgotten about me. I raised you when your dad left us. You brought this woman into my house, a woman whose own parents did not want her. And what happened to the ones who finally decided to take her in? Bad luck followed them. She ruins everything she touches. You just don't get it, Brian. She was probably looking for someone to rely on, and you walked right into it. Hundreds and thousands of women out there, and you choose the one no one wants. Bernice, why do you say so much about me? I have always been nothing but nice to you. I have wanted you to accept me as part of this family, but it seems like you are determined to see the worst in me. Mom, I think Monica is right. It's time for us to find our own place as soon as possible. Brian, well, he had always been the listener in his relationship with his mom, often staying silent and just taking in what she had to say. Brian and I set out to find a small apartment of our own. I should also mention that Lisa and Robert, my parents, had a will in place, and in it, they left me a significant sum of money. Half of that money was used for the purchase of our apartment, but here's the thing, it was under Brian's name. As time went on, things started to change. Brian received a well-deserved promotion at work, and with it came a significant bump in his income. He had always traveled a lot for work. It was clear that Brian had reached whatever Bernice referred to as his potential, and it seemed to give him a certain level of smug satisfaction. He was proud of his achievements, and I was genuinely happy for him. But there was something off about his behavior. It felt like he had been pumped up by his mom, and it was affecting our relationship. During those 9 months of pregnancy, Brian was not really around much due to his demanding work schedule. It left me with a lot of alone time, but it was not all bad. Sometimes Austin and his girlfriend Lorna would come to visit. Lorna and I hit it off, and we would have these fantastic girls' nights. We would watch cheesy movies, indulge in my pregnancy cravings, and just gossip. Time passed, and it was only about 2 weeks before my due date when Brian finally came home. "It's good to have you back, especially with the baby almost here." "Yeah, I'm glad to be here too, babe. I need to talk to you about something." "What is it?" "Monica, I've been talking to Mom these last few months, and it seems like she's started to come to accept you and the baby. Do you think we should call her over for the birth?" "Really? That's a change. Well, if you think she's genuinely coming around and wants to be part of our lives, then yeah, Brian. It might be a good idea to have her there with us." About 2 weeks after our conversation, my water broke. And that's when the roller coaster ride of childbirth began. Let me tell you, it wasn't the smoothest journey. The labor pain hit hard, and I felt like I was in a pressure cooker about to blow. But then things took a scary turn. It wasn't just a regular labor drama. Nope, we had some fetal stress and maternal hemorrhage happening at the same time. Talk about double trouble. The doctors went into overdrive to save both of us. The medical team decided to do an emergency C-section, and I was out like a light. When I finally came to my senses, I had this beautiful baby girl in my arms, and I named her Roxy. Brian and Bernice were nowhere to be found. I was shifted into a private room, and the doctors told me I needed to stay there for some time till I fully recovered. The trauma of that birth experience left me forever changed. I was so close to the edge, so close to losing it all, that it shook me to my core. The whole ordeal was pretty darn scary. Just when I was processing everything in my room, Brian and Bernice came in. "Brian, where have you been? Did you take a look at our little girl?" I finally decided on Roxy as her name. She looks like a little Roxy, and oh, she's got your nose. "Monica, I've got some really bad news. The medical bills for childbirth are astronomical, and I don't think we can handle it. They want us to pay a huge sum, and God knows how many days you're going to spend in this room. That means nothing but more bills, and I just can't do it." "Brian, what are we going to do? I mean, we can't just leave a massive bill unpaid. I have some of the money left from what my parents left me." "That's not what I'm trying to say. This is a nightmare for me. My mom was right all along. I should have listened. I'm sorry, but we can't do anything. You should call Austin or someone to figure this out. We're leaving." "What do you mean?" "Oh, what he means is he is finally seeing the light. I told him you would be nothing but trouble. Look, Monica, I've got a good position now, and if I pay for this, it's going to derail all my plans and dreams. I will not be able to get that fancy car I've been eyeing, and I won't be able to keep up with the lifestyle I want for myself. I can't sacrifice it. I'm leaving you the apartment. You can stay there." "Brian, We can find a way. We can work this out together. This is the daughter we are talking about. Well, your daughter. I don't want to get involved. I can't deal with this burden right now. I need to figure things out, and I don't want you or the baby to be part of that process. I'll let you know if I change my mind. Brian, you'll let me know if you change your mind, won't you? This is not some dinner I've asked you to come for. I can't believe you're leaving us like this. Do you even realize what I've been through? The emotional distress, the trauma of childbirth, and now you're just walking away, leaving me with this enormous bill? You need to understand, Monica, you are not our responsibility. Brian can do whatever he wants. Call your so-called brother or whoever, we don't care. Son, it's time for us to leave. Sure, Mom. Bye, Monica. So there I was, broken, abandoned, and drowning in bills. I cried my heart out for what felt like an eternity, feeling like my world had crumbled. But then I called Austin, my big brother. He was furious about the situation, but he was there for me, no questions asked, and he wasn't alone. Lorna was by his side as well, and they both stepped in to be my support system. I spent the next 10 days in the hospital recovering, while Austin and Lorna juggled everything else. They got me food and baby supplies, and most importantly, they got me through the darkest time in my life. When the day came for my discharge, I needed to deal with the huge hospital bill. It was a monster, and I did not know how I was going to tackle it. But there was Austin once again being the hero. He paid a whopping 75% of that bill, and I chipped in as much as I could. He took me to the house he and Lorna were living in, which, by the way, used to be our parents' place. It was part of the will, you see. Lisa and Robert left me the money, but the house belonged to Austin now. You know, Monica, we could teach your husband and your mom-in-law a lesson they won't forget. Maybe even get your husband behind bars for deserting you like this. Austin, I appreciate your support, but I still hope that Brian will come to his senses someday. He is the father of Roxy after all, and despite everything, I don't want to give up on that possibility. I never really liked him, you know? Even from the start, he didn't seem right for you. It was all just so fast and sudden. Give her a break, babe. She just got back from the hospital. I know you've always had my back, Austin. It's just I hope that someday Roxy can have a relationship with her father, and who knows, maybe people can change. Monica, whatever you decide, we are in this together. Monica, you know you're welcome to stay with us for as long as you want. This is your home, too. Absolutely, Monica. I work from home as a realtor, so I have my fair share of free time. We can all take care of Roxy together. You guys, I don't even know how to thank you. I was lost, and you both just saved me. I think I would like to say, this is where I need to be right now. So, there you have it. That chat with Austin and Lorna was like 4 years ago. Time flew by and a lot has happened since then. A year later, Brian asked me for a divorce. He had met someone new and it seemed like he had not changed a bit. It hurt, especially for Roxy. He did not seem to care much about his own daughter, which was heartbreaking. But life had other plans for me. I decided to focus on different things in life. I didn't want to start dating again or get caught up in all that drama. I had my sights set on my career. I had a business degree and it was time to put it to use. I sold the apartment I got in alimony and used the funds to kickstart my own business. Fast forward to now, and I'm doing pretty well. Well, let me be honest, I have been blessed beyond words. My little business turned out to be a big hit. With my new financial security, I was able to buy a beautiful home in the same neighborhood as Austin and Lorna. Talking about those two lovebirds, they also got hitched in the span of these last 4 years. You must be wondering what happened to Brian and Bernice, right? I was too. I mean, Did Brian just waltz off into the sunset with the love of his life and live happily ever after? I had all these questions swirling around in my head, and honestly, I never got proper closure from the past. But about 2 months ago, my phone rang, and it was a call that changed everything. Hello, Monica, it's Bernice. I hope I'm not catching you at a bad time. Bernice? This is quite a surprise. What can I do for you? Well, I saw this article in the local magazine about your business and how well you're doing. I must admit, I was quite impressed. It just reminded me of you, and I thought I should call. Thank you, Bernice. I did not expect to hear from you after all these years. How is Roxy, by the way? Roxy's just fine. Thanks for asking. She's growing up fast. Monica, I was thinking maybe we should catch up. There are things I would like to talk to you about. Things from the past. All good intentions, dear. Don't worry. I'll think about it. I'll drop you a text on this number. All right, darling. Just try to give this old woman a chance to apologize. I couldn't help but feel confused. After all these years, why would Bernice suddenly want to reconnect to apologize? I wanted to get answers. It was a mystery that tugged at the edges of my mind. I decided to text her, and we agreed to meet at a cafe. Bernice, it's been a while. How have you been? Monica, I've been well. It's been quite a journey. I don't know if you've heard about Brian. He's living with his new wife now, and it seems like he's completely cut ties with me. I haven't heard from him in a while. I'm sorry to hear that, Bernice. It must be tough. Monica, I need to say this. I know I was not the best mother-in-law to you, and I said and did some hurtful things. And what happened at the hospital, I want to apologize for all of it. I'm on your team now. Bernice, I appreciate your honesty. I accept your apology. Thank you, Monica. That means more to me than you can imagine. But there is something else I need to talk to you about. What is it? You see, the old house, it's in really bad shape now. I wanted to buy a new one, but I'm in a tough spot financially. I was wondering if you could help me, just a little, to make it happen. You must be kidding me. You just wanted to talk to me into getting you a new house now that you know I'm doing well financially. It's not like that. I really don't have anyone to rely on. Here is the money for the food we ordered, but I won't be having it. I think I'll leave now. So there I was, heading home after that surreal meeting with Bernice. Her plea for help had left me chuckling and scheming, and I could not deny the thrill of a well-constructed plan. You see, I couldn't help but feel that Bernice had underestimated me, thinking she could manipulate me just like she did back in the day. But oh, how things had changed. I was a different person now, and I was ready to play the game. I couldn't help but laugh at the audacity of my own plan that I came up with. Some might call it petty, but I prefer to think of it as justice. The scheme was simple yet satisfying. I decided to have Bernice sell her old house with Lorna's assistance at a price that was a fraction of what it was worth. I would assure Bernice that I would help her buy a new house only to ghost her at the last moment. It might seem harsh, but after everything Bernice has put me through, it felt like a taste of her own medicine. So I texted Bernice again. I decided to take the high road, or at least pretend to, and told her I was sorry for my initial reaction. I assured her that I would help her with some funds to get the new house she wanted. I also mentioned that my sister-in-law Lorna was a realtor and a market expert who could assist her in setting the right price for her house. I told Lorna about the plan, and she was all in. So off we went to Bernice's place. Wow, being here brings back a lot of memories. Yeah, but I need new memories in a new place. Look at how worn out this house is. Well, Bernice, this is not official advice, but I'm sharing it because you're a friend of my husband's sister. To be honest, this house would not cost a penny more than $70,000. What? You must be kidding me. You see, the neighborhood is quite old and the house hasn't been well maintained. It would need a complete renovation and a total makeover. You would have to replace doors and windows and do a lot more. Do you have the funds for all that? I don't. Well, you can seek other opinions, but they'll probably tell you the same. It's quite the project. I had wanted to sell this place independently. It's your call now, Bernice. Well, I'm helping you out anyway, so we'll figure it out together. I couldn't believe how smoothly everything was going. She had put her house up for sale, and it seemed like a perfect match for someone looking for a good deal. In just 2 weeks, the house was sold. It was no surprise, given the affordable price she had set, and the buyers seemed more than happy to take it off her hands. During the same time, I had accompanied Bernice in her search for a new house. The audacity of it all was quite amusing. She was looking for houses in posh neighborhoods, bungalows, and more, all for herself. It was evident that her confidence was on the rise. We finally settled on a house, and I played my role to perfection. I assured Bernice that she didn't need to worry about a thing. I would take care of the new place, allowing her to focus on packing up her old house and making a smooth transition to her new home. When the time came, I even told her that I had paid for the house, ready to hand over all the paperwork on the day she moved in. She believed every word, and my little scheme was working perfectly. The day I had been waiting for finally arrived. It was the day Bernice had to shift to her new house, and I was sitting by my phone waiting for Bernice to call. And then she did. Monica, where are you? You said you would be here with the keys and paperwork and... Nope, Bernice. I didn't actually purchase that house. Seriously? I'm out here with a U-Haul truck full of my stuff, and you're telling me you didn't buy the house? Well, Bernice, it hit me that I couldn't afford that place. It was a real hit to my bank account. What's the deal? I've got nowhere to crash, and all my belongings are in the truck. You're not pulling my leg, are you? Remember when you left me high and dry with those hospital bills? I did try, just like you did back then, but sorry, I still can't be your savior. Unbelievable that you pulled this stunt. Well, call your son, check into a hotel, or figure something out. I'm not fazed. Oh, it looks like Roxy needs me now. Goodbye. I told Austin and Lorna about Bernice's situation, and we could not help but laugh our butts off. It was a moment of sweet revenge, but I guess we all need a bit of that from time to time. I don't really know what's become of Bernice or where she's living these days. Frankly, I don't care. I did to her what she did to me back then. I hope her son got the message as well, that they messed with the wrong woman. Maybe it was a tad petty, but hey, sometimes you have got to get your hands dirty to teach people a lesson. It's a wild world out there, and I'm just living my life, managing my business, and enjoying every moment with Roxy. She'll be starting kindergarten soon, and I can't wait to see the amazing person she's growing into.